You ended that sentence with a preposition. Bastard.
Chevron 7, locked.
You may or may not have heard of Stargate. In the shadows of wars and Trek, it is the least well-known of the three stars and often finds itself in a bizarre place genre-wise. However, the franchise has managed to find a place for itself and remains popular to this day. Although most often recognized for the 1994 motion picture, my focus today rests rather on the 1997 TV series. Hello, my name is Captain KRB, and this is why Stargate SG-1 is a really good sci-fi show. First, a little history. The story of Stargate begins in the year 1994 with the release of the original film, simply titled Stargate. Directed by Roland Emmerich, the film was a commercial success, although initial reviews were mixed. In Stargate, a mysterious space portal is found in the middle of the Egyptian desert. An archaeologist named Daniel Jackson, played by James Spader, is called to a secret facility by the US government where he helps them decipher exactly how the space portal is operated. Once active, the titular Stargate opens a portal to God knows where. Joined by Air Force Colonel Jack O'Neill, played by Kurt Russell, and a motley crew of assorted military personnel, the group steps through the portal to find themselves on another planet. The team discovers a group of humans on the planet who claim to be in the service of the Egyptian sun god Ra, whom the people assume was responsible for sending the team. Daniel Jackson is offered the chief's daughter, Shaori, as a wife, whom he initially refuses, although he changes his mind later. Through a series of investigations, Jackson discovers that Ra is actually an alien being who came to Earth thousands of years prior and, posing as a god, enslaved humans to mine a mineral used in his technology. Furthermore, the humans on Earth discovered Ra's false nature and revolted, burying the Stargate to prevent its use. Not wanting to repeat his mistake, Ra prevented the humans on this new planet, called Abydos, from ever learning of his true nature. Jackson also discovers a cartouche, which is a fancy way of saying a stone tablet. The cartouche contains 6 of the 7 symbols required to reactivate the Stargate and return to Earth, but the 7th remains unknown. Later, O'Neill and company get into a bit of a fight with Ra, at which point Jackson is killed and subsequently brought back to life by Ra using alien technology. Ra reveals to Jackson that he has discovered the nuclear bomb O'Neill managed to sneak through customs and made it much more powerful in order to send it back and to destroy Earth. Before this can happen, however, Jackson and friends are saved by several of the Abydos people, including the chief's son, Skara, who O'Neill took a liking to, as Skara reminded him of his deceased son. After the Great Escape, our heroes retreat to a cave to celebrate their victory. Skara draws a symbol on the wall, which Jackson recognizes as the final symbol needed to activate the Stargate. Another large fight ensues as the soldiers and the people of Abydos clash with the forces of Ra. Jackson's girlfriend is killed, but he manages to sneak aboard Ra's ship to resurrect her. O'Neill manages to defeat Ra's right-hand man and get Jackson and Shaori off the ship safely before blowing the ship up with the nuclear bomb conveniently provided by Ra. At the end of the day, the people of Abydos are free, the team returns to Earth, Daniel stays on Abydos with his new wife. Everyone learns a valuable lesson, and the credits roll. Now, with that out of the way, we move on to the star of tonight's show. 3 years later, Stargate was revived by Brad Wright and Jonathan Glassner with the TV show Stargate SG-1, which premiered on Showtime in 1997. SG-1 picked up a year after Stargate ended and set out to continue the storyline established by the motion picture. In the first episode, Children of the Gods, it is revealed that after the events of Stargate, the device itself was shut down and left to rot. However, this would make for an exceptionally boring series, so action was bound to ensue. The Stargate, which was thought to be inactive, is suddenly reactivated by a new enemy. The species of aliens whom Ra belonged to is revealed to be the Goa'uld, a snake-like parasite species which takes over the bodies of humans. Although Ra was killed a year earlier, other powerful Goa'ulds called System Lords have stepped up to the plate to take a swing at Earth. A System Lord known as Apophis uses the Stargate to travel to Earth and kidnap an airman. The US Air Force then discovers that the Stargate is not a singular occurrence, and that there are thousands of Stargates scattered across the galaxy, connecting thousands of planets. Spurred into action by Apophis' attack and this new knowledge, the Air Force reinstates the Stargate program under Stargate Command. The SGC's first order of business is to reunite the original Stargate team, or what's left of it. Colonel Jack O'Neill returns and is recast as Richard Dean Anderson, famous for his portrayal of MacGyver. This change in casting caused O'Neill to shift from stern and by-the-books to sarcastic and wisecracking, as well as to gain an extra L on the end of his name.
O'Neill, 2 L's.
Joining the team was Captain Samantha Carter, played by Amanda Tapping. This team was very briefly joined by 2 other surviving members of the Abydos expedition, but they left very quickly and really didn't have too much of an impact. Feeling as though the team was missing something, Major General George Hammond, played by Don Davis, orders contact to be made with Abydos to seek the help of Daniel Jackson.
Hammond is insisting SG-1 needs a socio-political nerd to offset our overwhelming coolness.
The team enters the Stargate, and after meeting an armed party of Abydonians, they are reunited with Jackson, recast as Michael Shanks. With the gang back together, they are immediately confronted by the same group that attacked the SGC earlier. The aliens capture Skara, as well as Jackson's wife, whose name is now Sharae for some reason. The group is able to ascertain the symbols the aliens used to escape, and with the permission of General Hammond and the President, they form the titular team, SG-1. The story continues when SG-1 follows the aliens to their point of origin, a planet called Chulak. After discovering Sharae's body has been taken over by a Goa'uld, SG-1 is captured by Apophis' forces. Inside Apophis' prison, the team meets Skara just in time for him to be whisked away by Apophis' guards. The guards are ordered to kill the remaining prisoners, but O'Neill manages to bargain with Teal'c, the commander of Apophis' forces. Teal'c, portrayed by Christopher Judge, is a Jaffa, a human-like alien altered by the Goa'uld to incubate their young and serve them. However, Teal'c had long been doubting Apophis' status as a god, and with encouragement from SG-1, he turns on his fellow guards and helps SG-1 escape. The team is chased back to the Stargate by more of Apophis' forces, but they are saved by another team, SG-2, who engages in the time-honored tactic of blowing up Apophis' pursuit vessel with a rocket launcher. The team also encounters the last of the prisoners, but by this time Skara has already been possessed by another Goa'uld. As SG-1 finally escapes, Kowalski, one of the team members, is invaded by another Goa'uld. And thus ends the first episode. Now, the series went on to last 10 seasons over the span of an entire decade, so from this point on I'll just go over general events because I don't want to be here all day. Season 1 focuses primarily on the team getting to know each other and the SGC getting to know their position in the universe. In this season, Teal'c joins SG-1. This marks the beginning of the most notable configuration of the team: Daniel Jackson, Samantha Carter, Jack O'Neill, and Teal'c, who doesn't have a last name. The SGC discovers that any number of Stargates across the galaxy may be accessed by entering a specific address composed of several symbols into a console known as the Dial Home device. SG-1 encounters several new civilizations throughout the galaxy, including the Nox and the Roswell aliens known as the Asgard. The next few seasons deal with SG-1's various adventures throughout the galaxy and their constant struggles against the Goa'uld Empire, fighting several system lords including Heru'ur, Satesh, Hathor, Sokar, and several others. However, their primary enemy throughout this time remained Apophis, who was thought to have died several times before he finally bit the dust at the beginning of Season 5. Before this, however, the SGC fought a number of other enemies. In Season 3, they are contacted by the Asgard in order to help them defeat the Replicators, sentient machines which consume and replicate as much as they can. Through this, SG-1 formed alliances with both the aforementioned Asgard and an anti-Goa'uld resistance group known as the Tok'ra, who were also Goa'ulds, but that's besides the point. In seasons 5 and 6, the Goa'uld ramp up their attacks following the death of Apophis and unite under a new leader, the mysterious System Lord Anubis. In the midst of this great danger, Daniel Jackson chooses this moment to die. However, it is soon revealed that he was not truly dead and rather ascended to another plane of existence, which kinda seems like cheating, but I'm not gonna push the issue. Jackson's role as the smart guy is soon filled by Jonas Quinn, a human from another planet, played by Corin Nemec. Throughout Season 6, Jackson returns as a helpful ghost to aid SG-1 with irritatingly little information. Following a confrontation with Anubis on Abydos, the previously ascended Jackson suddenly finds himself descended and ready to rejoin the team. In Season 7, after creating a number of schemes including super soldiers and a super laser, Anubis is finally defeated after SG-1 blows up his ship using a weapons platform left behind by the Ancients in Antarctica. Who are the Ancients, you may ask? Basically, they're the really old ancestors of humans, and they made the Stargates, and they made Atlantis, and then they ascended, and then they split into two groups with the Ori, but before that, they made the Replicators, and then they went to war with the Wraith, and I'm not going to explain it all, so you're just going to have to watch the show. In Season 8, O'Neill retires from SG-1 and becomes the boss of the SGC. Later, SG-1 has one last major tussle with the Replicators, as Anubis, who it turns out was not really dead, tries to reinsert himself and fails. A fair amount of chaos unfolds on Earth as several organizations try to expose or overthrow the SGC. At the end of it all, O'Neill leaves the SGC for good, leaving General Hank Landry, played by Beau Bridges, in charge of the facility. Seasons 9 and 10 finish up the series with a final arc, featuring the previously mentioned Ori. The Ori were a faction of the Ancients who split off before they ascended, and now force millions to worship them. With O'Neill gone, SG-1 completes their final roster with Colonel Cameron Mitchell, played by Ben Browder, and Vala Maldoran, played by Claudia Black. As is fitting for a final challenge, the Ori prove to be their most powerful enemy yet, coming very close to taking over the entire galaxy. After failing to stop the Ori's invasion of their galaxy, SG-1 literally finds the Holy Grail, and with the help of Merlin the Wizard, they manage to defeat the Ori, at least for a time. The series ends with a double-length episode in which the team gets stuck in a time bubble for 50 years with a Creedence Clearwater soundtrack before they finally manage to escape with the knowledge of the Asgard, who are now all dead. Whew. Of course, this wasn't the end of Stargate at all. SG-1 itself was wrapped up by two direct-to-DVD films, The Ark of Truth and Continuum. The Stargate universe was continued by two series, Atlantis and Universe, as well as an animated series, novels, and comic books. But we won't get into that right now. So, what is it that makes SG-1 so spectacular? What allows it to stand out from a sea of sci-fi and become noteworthy enough for me to make this video? It all starts with balance. Stargate SG-1 has managed to craft itself as a show which strikes the perfect balance between a multitude of extremes. SG-1 avoids becoming distant and unrelatable by being set in a place and time that most viewers will be familiar with. Some of the characters and events aren't from a far-off place and time, and they feel like things that could really exist. This is balanced by the fantastical science fiction element, which adds excitement and wonder. At the beginning of the show, the characters haven't been to space, fired an energy weapon, been in a starship, or met an alien. They're just soldiers and scientists with guns and a space portal. The more eccentric and science fiction-y elements are added in slowly and over time, so you never feel like you're being thrown off the deep end. By the finale of the show, the SGC has full-on starships with energy weapons and transporters, but throughout the run of the show, you're able to see and feel all the little changes that brought them to that moment. This same balance goes for the characters. They aren't perfect, unattainable paradigms of what they should be, nor are they gritty, jaded caricatures. They're real people, and they make mistakes, but they carry with them a genuine strength of character that, while never stated outright, can be seen clearly in the things they do. Admittedly, it does take the cast about a season to become comfortable with their roles.
Kind of a ring thing, comes with a dialer. You hit the symbols, it spins around, their lights come on.
But once they do, they feel tangible. The ensemble cast element of the show is executed very well, allowing the cast to riff off of each other and as well as to distribute action and dialogue. A balance is struck thematically as well. SG-1 isn't a goofy, lighthearted sitcom, nor is it a dark, gritty action show, although the original film did lean in this direction. Humor is used tastefully, and while there are a few callbacks and running jokes,
Colonel?
General?
Major?
General?
Doctor?
General?
most of the humor comes from the characters themselves. The show doesn't shy away from dark, depressing, or violent themes, but it definitely doesn't rely on them either. This intermediate component means that you can quickly differentiate between light and humorous episodes, like the self-parody episode 200, and dark and serious episodes, like Heroes. Particularly the latter. Dark themes aren't overused, so when a character dies, you feel it. Lastly, SG-1 provides a well-formulated mix of change and stability, order and chaos. A general theme of the show is that our heroes have been plunged into a strange, unfamiliar new galaxy, and that they have to figure it out as they go along. Till the very end, there's always something new, exciting, and entirely unexpected being experienced for the first time. Yet through all of these changes, SG-1 maintains a comfortable stability. Even when the team itself changes, the spirit of the show remains constant, unmoving, and reliable. It allows the viewers to experience the same wonder and excitement as the characters themselves, while having some sense of normality to fall back on. In the end, I believe it is this give and take, this expertly struck equilibrium of 1,000 different elements, that makes Stargate SG-1 a really good sci-fi show. Thanks for watching.
A serpent guard, a horse guard, and a Satesh guard meet on a neutral planet. It is a tense moment. The serpent guard's eyes glow. The horse guard's beak glistens. The Satesh guard's nose drips.